Hi, I'm Savannah. Sorry, I don't look the best right now, but I'm doing my Burro Genio reading response. I'm going to talk about how this book, oh my gosh, sorry, how this book helped me understand like emergent bilingual students, and one of the scenes that really stuck with me most, and whether I'd recommend it to other teachers or future teachers that are in our class as well. I'm going to connect it to a few readings that we've done throughout this semester. And then, yeah. So first, I think this book helped me understand emergent bilingual students in a way that feels more like personal to me and real, rather than just doing research, because I feel like a lot of the times you just are like, okay, like I hear that they're doing this and I can read it, but it's like I don't truly understand because I've never been through that. And then it also made me understand like being an emergent bilingual is not just about learning English. Like it affects how students feel at school, how confident they are, and even like how teachers treat them. The author, Burro Genio, is clearly smart, observant, but because he doesn't have like great English yet, people assume he's behind, and that's so unfortunate. And that does like happen a lot in schools. It makes me very sad. But yeah, so connecting it to some of the readings, I feel like this connects to the Espinosa reading, because she talks about how people like believed myths about young English learners, and that the idea that bilingual kids were delayed, behind, not where they're supposed to be, but really they're not. Like they're learning two different languages at the same time. And I said in class last Wednesday, like that's a strength, not a weakness, and bilingual students should be valued for that. And the book also really shows that it is a strength. It's not that the students can't learn, it's the environment that's being built for them. And it also connects to Huerta, Riojas, and Cortez, because they talk about how bilingual kids develop literacy through everyday conversations and playful language, not just like them sitting down and like being lectured for all 8 hours of school. Like that's not gonna help a child learn. I feel like the book shows that as well, and like ties that in, because the author's language and identity are tied to family and community, not just being lectured at school. So as a future teacher, there are a few strategies I would actually want to plan and use because of this book. The first one is that I would want to create a classroom that like where students are valued. That is like a really, really big thing for me, because I never want my students to feel less than. If English isn't their first language, that's not something they should be ashamed of. I don't ever want them to feel like that. And I want them to know that it's a strength, not a weakness. Second, I would use partner talk and structured conversations a lot in my classroom. The book shows how isolating school can feel when you don't understand what's going on, or you're like having trouble like with English and you haven't learned it to the degree that some of the other students have yet. So I'd want students to have chances to talk with other students, to know that they're not alone, and like other students are going through this as well. And then third, I would use like oral storytelling and as a bridge into writing. So this connects to the reading about oral and written language, because oral language comes first. So instead of forcing students to jump straight into writing, I'd let them talk about their ideas first, and like share stories and build confidence before writing, so they like know what they're talking about. Fourth, I would use culturally relevant text on purpose. Burro Genio reminded me how powerful it is when students see themselves reflected in books, so that's a big thing as well. For my memorable scene, I think one part that really stuck with me was when the author was in school and you can tell that he's being treated differently just because of his, like, of Spanish being his first language. He's clearly capable, but he just can't express everything in English yet. People assume he doesn't understand, that he's not smart, like I said earlier, and it's not even always done in like a negative way, but it still comes off that way because like they don't know how he's feeling, and it's unfortunate that they like still like say things or whatever about English not being his first language. That part stood out to me because it shows how quickly school can make students feel small. Honestly, it made me think about how teachers might not even realize that they made an impact or the impact that they're having. A teacher might think they're helping, but the student like feels embarrassed. And that really also connects back to Espinosa, going back to what I was talking about earlier, because she emphasizes that we can't treat bilingual students like they're delayed. They're learning, and they're learning a lot all at the same time. That's extremely difficult for any child. And finally, yes, I would recommend this book to other teachers, whether it's future teachers, current teachers. I think we read a lot of research, which is important, but this book gives like a student experience, a hands-on experience. It's about respect, strategies, patience, the way you talk to students, it's about making sure they feel safe and seen while they're learning. So overall, I would say Burro Genio helped me understand emergent bilinguals in a more personal way. It gave me strategies that I can actually help and see myself using in my future classroom.